Hey guys, this is Ashton from Muse Themes. Today we have a new theme release called Focus, which I'm very excited about. It's a media-driven template, something that we get a lot of requests for. It was built for filmmakers and videographers in mind, but not exclusively so. It's a very flexible template, and it can serve as a really sophisticated medium for anyone in any kind of visual arts, and has a lot of room to be customized and adapted. The site is fully responsive, using a variety of fixed-width breakpoints, which we'll get into in a minute. So you can see the site adjusting nicely as I scale the browser down. And if I scroll down the home page, you can see we have some different sections and categories that can all be catered to your work. Down here we have some subtle scroll effects going on, which the fixed-width nature of our breakpoints allows us to do. Now down here we have a stylish gallery, which is built with our Gallery Connect widget. Now this template uses our Gallery Connect widget in multiple instances and in multiple fashions as well. This one here uses the carousel slider component of the widget, but as we explore other pages you'll see many more versions displayed within. If you haven't yet seen or explored our Gallery Connect widget, our focus theme will really give you a great example of how versatile and resourceful the widget actually is. In this instance, I can click on any of these thumbnails and a slick light box pops up displaying the video implemented into it. So I'll go ahead and close that, and now let's hop over to our About page. Now as you can see, we have more stylish headers and many different text styles, all laid out very nicely with a smooth color scheme that's easy on the eyes, and allows the work to stand out and speak for itself. Jumping to our portfolio page, here we get this really awesome slider of videos, all of which are clickable and playable here in this full screen hero space. And you can close out of it just like that. This is another component of the same Gallery Connect widget, and you can see it allows for full responsiveness. As I move the size of the browser around, you can see it adjusts itself no matter what size, and the rest of the site content is scrollable beneath that as well. Scrolling down a little further, we have yet another showcase of our Gallery Connect, this one using a grid gallery component, which is, again, fully responsive, and will adjust to any browser size smoothly. And our last two pages here, Services and Contact. They're a bit more self-explanatory, but they allow for much more room to play, customize, and expand based on the work you're showcasing. So it's a really simple theme in its nature and its layout, but it is very stylish, and it's highly resourceful for anyone with a large amount of photos and or videos to show. So let's jump into Muse and we'll take a look at some of the specifics. So first, once you download the folder and unzip it, you'll see that we have the Assets folder with the images and graphics inside. We also have the Muse project file, and then just our general instructions guide. So once you open the project file in Muse, you'll see a setup that looks like this. It comes set default displaying the vertical sitemap, but you can click up here and change this to horizontal if you wish. And here we have just one master page and 5 top-level pages. Now if I pop open the master page, it's a pretty simple layout. So we have a variety of text boxes up here grouped together with hyperlinks applied, and that's serving as our site navigation. And down here is a nice large footer with a smaller navigation and some contact info that you can customize. Now let's take a look at the breakpoint bar here at the top. As I mentioned earlier, we've designed this theme to operate with multiple breakpoints, but they're all set to fixed width, with the exception of the lowest breakpoint, which is set to fluid. So right here you can right-click on our breakpoint and select Breakpoint Properties. And you can see it here set to fixed width, but you can of course change this to fluid width if you wish. And there are advantages and disadvantages of doing fixed versus fluid, and it will ultimately depend on the kind of content you're showing and the functionality that you're desiring. Using the fixed width as we've done here, you don't have to worry so much about items shifting around between your breakpoints and such. If I go back to the browser preview, let's take a look at the contact page, for example. As I scale the browser down, you'll notice that the items are not fluidly shrinking and moving around, but rather, when I get the size of the browser small enough to hit the next breakpoint, everything just kind of shifts one time. So certain things will be a little less fluid, but ultimately it gives you a little bit more control over everything's appearance in between those breakpoints. And like I said, with the exception of the smallest breakpoint, if I go back into Muse and we go to the breakpoint properties on the 550, you'll see that this one is set to fluid. Now you can of course change this to suit your needs, but since there's no scroll effects and there isn't as much size variance on the smaller devices, the fluid setting just kind of ensures that everything's going to fit nicely and precisely on any size mobile device screen. So let's jump out to our top level pages and we'll click into our home page. And you're of course going to see the same breakpoint setup reflected from our master page. Now I want to point out these guide bars that are shown here throughout the page. If I go up to View and I click Hide Guides, that will disable them. But I'm going to keep them visible because they serve an important purpose with this fixed width setup we have here. Our breakpoints are set up so that they're spaced out nice and evenly. You don't need a breakpoint set at every 50 pixels, and there aren't any large gaps either. This 4 breakpoint setup is nice and even, and it's going to make for a nice appearance across all devices. Now if you look at the guide bars here, look at the outermost bars on the left and right. These are basically reflecting where your next breakpoint starts. So right now I'm in my 1200 breakpoint. And these guide bars are displaying where the next breakpoint is going to begin, in this case 960. And this is important because you always want to make sure that all of your content is contained within these guide bars. Otherwise, you're going to have content bleeding off the page boundaries when you shrink your browser down. So you'll notice that everything on the page here, with the exception of anything that's full width, like this hero image on the top, everything else fits inside of these guide bars. And it's important to keep that in mind as you add and revise content. So beginning at the top of this page, we have a nice hero image displayed here. However, this is actually set up as a slideshow, and it gives you the option to add more images if you choose. So what you can do is select the image here, and we'll click the blue icon to open the settings panel. And down here, there's an option to select thumbnails. And this is what you'll want to do if you want to delete or revise any of the images in the slideshow. So if I go ahead and check the box, the single thumbnail is now displayed right here. And as always with these native slideshow widgets, just simply click on the icon up here if you want to add images, and you can set your slideshow settings accordingly. I'll go ahead and turn the thumbnails off for now, though. Scrolling down the page further, we have some text and icons set up here, giving visitors more info and navigation capability. Here for this featured work header, we have a full width rectangle with an image fill. Now if I select the image and go up here to fill, I can swap out that image there. And I can also click this scroll header up here to adjust the scroll effect that we saw in the browser preview. Now down here is our first example of our Gallery Connect widget. Once you've imported the Gallery Connect widget into your library, you can see an option for a carousel slide component, which is implemented here. If you aren't familiar with our Gallery Connect widget or our Connect series at all, it's a new series of widgets that allows you to host and update content on your site without having to go into Muse at all. Gallery Connect uses web-based Google spreadsheets to link up the info to this widget. And by simply updating the Google spreadsheet, you can add, remove, and update pictures and videos on your site without ever opening Muse. It's all about the convenience and the ease of updating dynamic content, and it allows you as the web designer to give more control into the hands of your clients. Or simply more ease of use for yourself if you're, say, on the road and you don't have Muse access, but you still want to update and manage your site content, and you can do so even from a mobile phone. So it's an extremely powerful new wave of widgets that I'd highly recommend checking out on our website if you haven't already. Now let's hop back out to our plan view, and the other page I want to visit is our portfolio page. The other pages are pretty self-explanatory, and you're going to find similar setups that you can customize just like what we've already seen. But in our portfolio page, we have some even more elaborate examples of our Gallery Connect widget. This large widget here on the top is the simple slider component of our Gallery Connect, which you can find in that same dropdown in your library once you've imported the widget. And this is what is enabling that responsive full-screen hero video slider that we saw in the browser preview. So I'm just going to pop open the settings panel here really quick just to give you an idea. We have a unique ID here on top, which each gallery needs to have. It needs to be something different for each occurrence so the browser can differentiate. And like I mentioned, it's using Google Spreadsheets as the CSV source, and our spreadsheet keys are entered here. So be sure to check out the tutorial on Gallery Connect if you haven't already. Scrolling down a bit further, we have some more text, and then yet another showcase of Gallery Connect, this time using a grid gallery, and that's what gave us that gallery of thumbnails from the browser preview. So as you can see, there's tons of room to customize here in our focus theme, and really endless ways to utilize our various media widgets, specifically Gallery Connect, to showcase a variety of visual work on a very modern, slick, and versatile platform. So we do really hope you enjoyed this theme, and if you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks again for watching.